And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Kyle the Pug Sports Show Review episode number 2. Now, before we get started with today's episode, most of you are probably wondering what the hell was up with that first 7 seconds of the episode. Well, I'll just tell you guys right now that I have been officially sponsored by Fatal Grips. So if you go to the website, you can buy so many materials with, of course, your Xbox 360 control sticks, PlayStation 3, Xbox One, PlayStation 4. They got t-shirts, you name it. And, of course, if you use the discount Puggy, you get a 10% little discount off every purchase you make. So go to Fatal Grips store right now. Use the coupon code Puggy for 10% off. So, with that being said, I'm Kyle the Pug, a.k.a. Kyle Lodi, your host of the most of the man with the plan. And, of course, this is my co-host and partner. It's Locke Miller, a.k.a. Cowboy Nick.
How y'all doing, folks? Thanks for being not the thief, and it was what a crazy draft we had last night.
All right, that is absolutely right. So right now we're actually going to talk about the live NFL draft coverage of round 1. Not live, though. I don't know why I said live. And then we're going to talk about, of course, Dee Gordon of the Miami Marlins, banned for 80 games using performance-enhancing drugs. And, of course, we're going to get to our Twitter question of the week. But right now, let's get into the NFL draft, shall we? Let's discuss the top 5 picks first, and we'll go down the rest of the way for the first 10 minutes. So we had, of course, kind of expected for the first 2 picks, of course, with Jared Goff going to the Rams from, of course, the California Golden Bears. And, of course, we have Carson Wentz out of North Dakota State University going to the Eagles. So what were your thoughts on those first 2 picks, Cowboy?
I thought that was great. I thought that was crazy. I thought that was great. But the only thing I didn't get by that was why is it that every time a new person was drafted, they all had the number 1 on their jersey?
Well, it's always like that. It's like that for, Goff's number is officially going to be number 16. So they only do that for, draft purposes.
Right, but for me, when I saw that, it's like you see that jersey, it's just like, here, you're our number 1 now. You're our number 1 now. You're the number 1. You're the number 1. But
that's the thing though. They have those every single year for everybody.
I know, it's just like it makes you feel kind of. It's just like when you see that, it just makes you feel kind of weird about it because
it's not weird. It's what they've always done that for every single year from time to time. So so what were your overall thoughts though? Is Goff the good pick for the Rams? Was Wentz the good pick for the Eagles? I mean, what's your insight?
I like those 2 picks, yes, because their play styles fit in with both those teams. The only thing I'm worried about with Goff right now is Goff has a tendency to have a little bit of an anger problem, and I'm just worried about his temperament.
Well, if you go back from 2013, he is actually from Northern California. He actually there was a tweet about him for a few years ago saying that he wishes that Yasiel Puig would get a fastball to the ribs when they were playing the Giants. That the Dodgers were playing the Giants that one game. I forgot when that was exactly, but everybody was just not roasting him, but they were kind of saying, comments on Twitter saying, you're in LA now, you better watch your mouth, or you better not say the wrong thing, blah, blah, blah. And that was kind of interesting to me because kind of ironic how the Northern California kid who grew up as a Giants fan will come down to Southern California just to play for the LA Rams. And don't you think that's kind of ironic that actually a tweet would actually be leaked out there? I mean, I know it's the past and everything, and everybody makes mistakes, but I think they kind of took it a little, I wouldn't say too far, but it's kind of personal, I would believe. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's considered a little personal, but the fact is, I think it's gonna. I think that if we're gonna see a good performance this year.
As Cowboy Nick yawns.
Stuff, but the one thing right now I want to know is, and I have to say this. Forgive me for going a little off topic, but I have to say this. Why would you make that trade
Well, we'll talk about that here upcoming here in a little bit. But right now, let's go down the line here with the draft and the round one recap. So we got Joey Bosa from defensive end Ohio State going to the Chargers, and of course, the next pick after that we had Ezekiel Elliott, another Ohio State product, the running back, going to the Dallas Cowboys. Now there has been controversy behind them either picking, Ezekiel Elliott or Jalen Ramsey out of Florida State. So, were you happy with that pick?
Yes, I am. I am extremely happy with that pick because the Cowboys really need this on their team. So, it's help make the team better.
All right. So, actually, we were talking about California teams a bit ago. So, the number 7 pick, I want to jump down to that really quick. The San Francisco 49ers, right? They drafted DeForest Buckner, defensive end. And guess where he's from? He's from Oregon, of course. And who's, of course, the head coach of the 49ers? Chip Kelly. You see a little connection between between 2 and 2 here? You put it together, and Chip Kelly was like that last year? You see a little connection there?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, I see it. I see what you're saying, too. But I just want to know, why would you make that trade?
Okay, now before we get to that though, there's been at least 5 to 6 players from Ohio State that were drafted in the first round. There's a lot of talent on Ohio State, that's for sure. And then if we actually go to the Raiders really quick, they drafted Carl Joseph, who was a safety out of West Virginia, and that was actually a good move on their part because he has that Brian Dawkins like style of play, and especially on the free safety, strong safety end of things, and they really needed a defensive back as well. So it was definitely one of those moves that was definitely good on their part.
It was a great move on their part, but the one thing that I'm hoping to see from the Raiders, even though I'm a Cowboys fan, but I'm hoping to see with the Raiders in round 2 is the fact that the Raiders do need another offensive player, and I'm hoping they get that in round 2. But the pick they made in round 1, I was very proud of. I actually cried a little bit because I thought to myself that was a brilliant pick. The person who they picked, matter of fact, from West Virginia, he's great from West Virginia. He's a great player. He had a great season. He had some great skills and things like that. He's really brilliant, and I think he's going to make a good fit there.
All right, so we're going to wrap up here this recap here really quick. Of course, you were talking about the Washington Redskins, of course, with Josh Doxson, of course, the wide receiver at TCU, picking a number 22nd. Now, was that the move you were kind of concerned about, or what was the deal with that trade?
That darn trade that they made.
Well, here's the thing, though. It's not really a bad pick. I mean, they do need a wide receiver. I can understand why they traded up, but they've been really hurting for a wide receiver for quite some time.
But when you look at this trade, you look at it and you see it. You have to admit, you know who got the blunt end of the stick on this trade.
I wouldn't say that, but I mean, this is basically a hit or miss kind of a thing. And of course, of the history with the Redskins, I'm not saying they're perfect. They have had some good moves, but I'm saying recently there have been times where they tried to hit on RG3, and that was a huge miss for sure. Just despite him having good rookie season, but then after that, he just fell off the face of the earth from there, and that's why the Redskins. I mean, they do have a decent quarterback with Kirk Cousins and all that, but the wide receiver core, I mean, it's definitely not a bad move. I would have definitely taken that move with the wide receiver. I mean, there are a lot of wide receivers out there that definitely needed to go in the draft, and it's pretty much become a quarterback league too. So it definitely makes sense on my part.
Yes, but also too is the other thing that I'm looking at as well is I'm wondering in this pick that was made in the first round as well. I'm really concerned about this pick that the Dolphins made. last night as well.
Yeah, especially when there was a Twitter video of him smoking pot, and I know who you're talking about as well.
Yeah, but it's not just that, but like from what people have said, like right now they're saying that they're talking about that they're talking not just about that, they're talking about his Instagram account showing the fact that accounts allegedly show.
Laramie Tunzel is who you're talking about, the offensive tackle from Ole Miss. Yeah.
They're also saying that they're showing on his Instagram account that he is showing alleged texts of requesting money appears to be a legitimate thing as well. And you're going through the draft and you're requesting and you're putting on you're going on Instagram and requesting money.
I mean, if you want to do that, then you can just go to like GoFundMe.com or make a PayPal for that. But don't do Instagram. That's just stupid. But anyways, though, we got to move on here. With that note, after that stupidity, we got to move on here really quick. So we're gonna go to baseball now, and we're gonna talk about Dee Gordon suspended for 80 games after using the performance-enhancing drugs violation. And this suspension actually went to pass without pay 10 minutes after the Marlins swept the Dodgers in a 4-game set, though. And that's kind of ironic, though, if you think about it, too, because, I mean, the suspension came right after the series ended. I mean, don't you think that's kind of a bit confusing? I mean, don't you think they would have done the suspension before the series had started? I mean, what do you think about all that?
I think, honestly, that the suspension should have been, it should have been known about a little bit earlier. But in this suspension, yeah, you do crime. As the saying is said, you do the crime, the time.
So basically, he was the hitting champion for the Marlins for last year. He hit 333, 58 steals, and 88 runs was scored to him, right? So basically, he's going to lose about $1.56 million in salary during during the suspension, and is ineligible for all the postseason. So that's going to be huge. Even if the Marlins make the playoffs, so I mean that's huge.
It is huge, but the fact is, and I'm saying this, if you're going to be the one to use those performance-enhancing drugs, then guess what? You have to suffer the consequences. It's not anyone else's fault. Who's the one who decided to use those drugs? If you're gonna take those chances to do that, then that's your fault. That is what you're harming your own body. That is no one else's fault but your own.
All right, so third baseman Martin Prado said that the Marlins would continue to play at a high level, and this is what he said about that, and I quote, "I really have nothing else to say. We've had a great series, and we played good baseball for the course of the whole team. We continue to do that. We have a game tomorrow, and we're going to play good baseball against a pretty good team. We want to keep that streak going," unquote. So your thoughts on that comment?
I like that comment. The Marlins have been having a pretty good season so far. We still have a long way to go in this baseball season. We still have a long regular season ahead of us with a lot of these teams. But one thing I'm just going to say is I hope all you kids out there who are watching, who are seeing this and watching this, that you realize that when you do things like this and you make these mistakes, you have to own up to these mistakes yourself.
Yeah, that is absolutely true. So I'm going, of course, back to, Dee Gordon here really quick. Would you even be surprised if there was an appeal that was going to be made by Dee Gordon, like sometime in the next, couple of weeks, maybe a week from now?
Oh no, I totally.
Yeah, you would expect him to make an appeal. I mean, he doesn't seem like the kind of guy, in my opinion, to actually do performance-enhancing drugs. But I guess when the news, I mean, I kind of broke my heart a little bit on the inside because I actually was a huge fan of Dee Gordon when he was on the Dodgers. I still kind of am, though, a little bit, even though he's not on the Dodgers anymore. But I mean, the way what the news came out with him using, PEDs is just, it kind of broke my heart a little bit on the inside. I was a huge fan of the kid.
Yeah, I was a little.
I mean, I still want to be. I mean, I'm pretty sure he'll probably find a way to get that appeal, taken care of. Maybe reduce the suspension and all that. But like I said, I mean, and you are right though on one thing. I mean, if you do performance enhancing drugs, then yeah, you're gonna pay the consequences. I mean, it's very simple. It's not complex at all.
Oh yeah, you're really gonna pay. You're really gonna pay for it, and it's not just. You're not just gonna pay for it by having a sentence put on you. You're gonna pay for it in other ways too, by what it's gonna do to your body, like making a certain part of your body get smaller, as everyone knows.
Well, yeah, we'll talk about that a little later on during the during another time. I almost couldn't think of what to say. So.
Just so you know, like you do these things, you're gonna pay the consequences. You gotta face back.
Okay, but here's the other thing too that I've just noticed also with Dee Gordon. So he was basically given a diamond-filled pendant by Marlins owner Jeffrey Loria on April 19th to honor last season's batting title.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that?
I think that's pretty interesting, but the fact is, honestly, like I said, we still have a long way to go, and I think some things are gonna change,
But here's the real question: should they provoke his pendant?
Yeah, correct. But the fact
No, should they actually provoke it? I'm not saying they will. Should they? And do you think that's a little bit too harsh? Is what I'm asking.
in this situation, I'm gonna say no, but it can be considered a little harsh. But in this situation, I'm gonna have to say no. But the fact is that it needs to happen. Our younger generation needs to learn that you can be a good player without having to use performance enhancement drugs, as well as doing things like what was seen on who's Twitter and Instagram and things like that of the marijuana scandal and everything like that, and things like that. People need to understand that you see these things happen, you see the punishments happen, and you learn that hey, you're not going to do this because you want to be better and you want to be better than these others, and to be a professional. To become a professional doesn't mean you get paid. It means you earn it, and that's the whole thing that people need to understand.
Let me give you an example of one person that's earning. This person is probably going to piss you off. Jake Arrieta.
Oh no, he's earning.
No, for the Cubs. Oh my God, he's probably one of the best pitchers in baseball. No question. Admit it, he is one of the best pitchers right now.
I have to agree with you.
Jake Arrieta is excuse my language, he's a fucking beast. Like the way he's been performing, from last season going on to this season, oh my God, he might be better than Kershaw, right? And I'm a Dodger fan saying this.
It's on the board that but it's just like wow, yeah.
I'm telling you, man, the Cubbies, they're making a run for it, dude.
They're making a run for it.
Yeah.
Basically, what they're doing is they're flying up.
Yeah, they're 16-5. They're like one of the top teams in the National League.
They're the top team in the Central.
Yeah, and in baseball, not just the Central, but in baseball too.
Yeah, shit.
Yeah, I know that's it's eating you up on the inside. I already know it is.
Every time I look, and I'm like looking to see how my team's doing and stuff. I'm just looking at the stats. I look at it, and I see number one team, 1.5 read in the Central.
Yeah.
Look, and there's the Cubs right there. And you're like, fuck.
Well, for you, you're like, the F-bomb, but not for me, because I actually do support the Cubs. I mean, like I said, the Cubs, I mean, if they actually do, like, get best record in baseball, they get home field advantage, whatever, I'm pretty sure that I would like to see them in the World Series by far. And I mean, who wouldn't want to see the Cubs in the World? I mean, except for you, of course, because I know your little biased hatred BS with them. But honestly, I would love to see the Cubs in the World Series. I mean, as a baseball fan, I think they are long overdue just to get to the World Series.
The last time they were in the World Series was what? Back in 1940?
No. Even way longer than that. It's been over 100 years since they've been into the. Have they won a World Series title?
Yeah, they haven't been to the World Series since before World War II. So.
Well, yeah, and hopefully we can get something from there. But anyways, going back to, of course, our next topic here for the last 10 minutes here, we are actually going to talk about some NHL coverage. Now, Cowboy Nick, this is pretty much right up your alley. So we're actually going to get to the Twitter question of the week, and I will take like a screenshot of this and I'll post it into the video real quick. And this question, of course, this is from the ESPN NHL coverage. And it actually asks, which tortured fan base deserves a cup most? So, and there's been a lot of people saying, the Buffalo Sabres, Washington Capitals, St. Louis Blues, and, all those other teams in there, the Sharks and whatever, it's just teams like that, for example. So, anyways, who is your team that is long overdue to win the Stanley Cup and why?
If I'm going to say, if I have to pick a team that's long overdue to win the Stanley Cup, and I have to say this, they've been tortured long enough, and they're playing tonight, but they've been tortured long enough.
Oh, you're talking about the Sharks, right?
I'm going to have to say this. It's going to have to.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying, like, there have been, especially here in Northern California, there's some pretty hardcore hockey fans, from over here where we're at, especially, with the Sharks fans, too. And basically, they actually do take the hockey sport very, very seriously. I mean, I used to take it, it was fun to watch, like, back in the night. I mean, I'll still watch it every now and then, like, with the post. I'm not, like, a huge fan on it anymore, not as I used to be, but it's still pretty fun and competitive to watch. Like, no question about it. But I think my answer to this question, though, I would definitely say, I have to go local, I gotta say the Sharks. Because the Sharks are, the torture by the fans. It's just, they've been long overdue to win a Stanley Cup. And if they actually do win the Stanley Cup, over here, people in Northern California, they're gonna go nuts. No, not the riot. They would have a parade in San Jose for sure, but I mean, but either way, I mean, you're looking at it. I mean, that's just my team that I know of personally that's long overdue. So, I know the Penguins. The Penguins are another team.
Another team you could say that could be overdue as well. Would have to be the Stars. Why? Because that team is.
How are they confused though? Explain that.
Okay. Look at the Stars organization. People still hate that team.
Well,
what they did.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of people that are going to spread the hate out there, but there are some loyal Dallas Stars fans, especially down in Texas too.
Well, no, like you look at this. I've actually talked to some people about this, and they still say this. Take the Wild away and bring and these are people in Minnesota who have said this, and bring our Stars back, please.
You just gotta love the hockey drama at times. You gotta love the hockey drama at times.
I know. It's just like, but I didn't think about that. People still won. They still won their North Stars.
People really just want to go back to the past, don't they? Well, then again, I can't really say that because I was the kind of person who wanted the Rams back in LA, and boom, here they are back in LA again. But that's another topic. But going back to the Dallas Stars here really quick, there are some sort of people out there who are very, nostalgic and classic that they actually want to go back to that name.
Yes. North Stars, yes.
But it's just really ironic to me. So, anyways, going back here really quick here, we'll stay in the topic of the NHL. So we have of course, the Washington Capitals up 1-0 going up against the Penguins. And who do you have in Game 2 tonight, Lock Miller?
Against the Penguins.
Oh, that's actually, no, I scrubbed that. That's on Saturday. Sorry, I misread that.
Yes, that would be, it's going to be, the 2 games on Saturday. We have the Islanders, the Lightning, and the Capitals, and the Penguins. And this one, I'm going to go, I'm going to have to go ahead and say this. I'm going to go with the Lightning winning Game 2 against the Islanders, and I'm going to say the Capitals. I'm going to say the Capitals are going to lose Game 2 to the Penguins, and it's going to be a 1. In the Penguins series, it's going to be a 1-1 after this.
Okay, so what about for the Blues and the Stars, and then you have the Predators taking on the Sharks? So who do you have in tonight's matchups?
Well, this one I'm going to go with the Stars because I respect the Blues, but the Stars are home. Dallas is just way too powerful at home. And with the Sharks going to be home, facing off against a team like the Predators, I'm going to go with the Sharks because the Sharks they really are dominant at home, and the Sharks have been known in the past to actually be able to get goals by their goalie. So.
All right, so I'm gonna give you. I'm not really a guy who gives out hockey picks, so I'm gonna tell you that something that I noticed with the St. Louis Blues really quick. So they basically knocked off the Stanley Cup champions, right? And then they have so much momentum going into this game that, of course, and this is the thing with hockey in the playoffs. I mean, it's so unpredictable. I mean, the lowest seed in the in any conference, Western, Eastern Conference, whatever, they could actually end up winning the Stanley Cup. Take the Kings, for example. Basically, they were like one of the 8 seeds, a few years ago. I don't remember which year it was, but they ended up winning the Stanley Cup Finals. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Blues actually, took it to the Dallas Stars and actually won the series. So from what I'm going to pick here is that I'm actually going to pick the Blues against the Dallas Stars just because of the momentum they have. And then for the next one, I like the Sharks, against the Nashville Predators just because it's local and not just because the Sharks are at home, but I think they have a lot of momentum going into this game after topping off the Kings as well. So those are my 2 picks for tonight's games as well.
Yeah, but then we have Saturday's picks. You have Lightning and the Islanders and Capitals and the Penguins. So people want to know what Kyle's going to say about that.
Well, you already know that I'm a huge Penguin supporter. So even since back in the 90s when Super Mario Lemieux and Jaromir Jagr and Ron Francis, and that was I can't believe that team did not win a Stanley Cup. I was actually quite shocked about that. But I was more of a supporter of the Penguins, the Avalanche, the Sharks, and those were actually the 3 teams I actually followed. And then for the other game, don't remember which game. What was it? The Lightning and who else were they were playing? Sorry, I'm kind of having a brain freeze right now.
It's the Tampa Bay Lightning versus the Islanders.
Okay, so I probably have to go with the Lightning there. I don't really know much about that match. I haven't done really much insight on that. But the only insight I've done was, of course, the other 3 that I mentioned before.
Yep, and then for Sunday's 3 games, we're having the 3 game, which is on the which will be coming up on the first will be the first. You have the Blues and the Stars on May 1st, and the Sharks and the Predators. So it's going to be interesting to see. That'll be game 2. So we'll see.
All right, we'll see what happens there. Then on that note, we are out of here for episode number 2. Thank you guys so much for enjoying this short show of Kyle the Pug's Sports Review Show, episode number 2. And if you guys did like this video, if you guys stayed for the whole 30 minutes, which I appreciate if you did, please drop a like in the description below. And don't forget to check out my main channel at www.youtube.com/TheKyleLodi or just search up Kyle the Pug in the text box, and you'll find my channel instantly. So, again, thank you guys so much for watching, and this of course, I'm Kyle the Pug, that's Cowboy Nick, and we'll see you guys later in the next video, episode number 3, which will be on Monday later in the afternoon. So, with that being said, have a good day, and as always, stay safe.